Alright, welcome to Squawking1200. I'm back for a little fun and excitement. Got my chat inside my headset. I got my Sky Vector inside my headset, though I don't think it actually moves. Gonna move this. I'm in the Just Flight Warrior 2. We're doing a flight sim economy. Fuel pump off, lights on, pitot fine. Awesome. We're taking off from a little runway S10 to MT53, headed towards Montana. I'm going to start the timer for my fuel tanks right before we follow everything up. I think everything's streaming. It appears to be. Yep. That didn't change anything. That's good. That's good. Let's see what does. I think we're good. We're going to take off and get out of here. My game capture's up pretty loud. Hopefully I'm not screaming. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. If I can't turn it down, For some reason, it defaulted back to Oculus. It wasn't like that a few minutes ago. So we'll go to back taxi here. We're really taxing the system there. We're a little bit juddery on a bunch of fronts. I think once we get over the mountains, we'll take a look. Must be really close to my Oculus wall here. Streaming X-Plane in VR version 6, I believe. Latest version. If every time I tip my head down, that's going to be annoying. Can you guys see my blue walls when I do that? Make sure this thing is synced up. Want to head out at get up in the air. I've really been enjoying these Just Flight Piper series. Looks like we're going to have to gain some altitude pretty quickly here. a few mountains. once I get over this airport, then I should head directly pretty much east and then north up until I find the river. It's a pretty substantial body of water that I'm looking for. Some cruise mode here. S92. Hoping that's S92 right there. And we will be on our way. One of the things that I'm going to do when I get enough money, I'm going to upgrade the avionics in this. Right now it is only, doesn't have GPS in it. It has the map, but my train derailment right there. In-flight sim economy. I don't think it recognizes the GPS. Good. See, it just shuts it off. That's okay. We're gonna go VFR, which is what this channel is all about. Squawking1200's. Squawk some altitude there. Squawking VFR. This is a pretty long flight. This is going to be a couple hours. We're going to have to keep on our toes. We're going to have to watch the fuel. We're going to have to watch the selecting of the fuel selector. That could be what I'm looking for. I'm going to say it is a little bit tricky to read the map. I'll go back for a second. Okay, I see what we did. We are north. We're at Anderson Ranch, so now we're going to head east. you should always double check yourself. I started my, I had left the default in SkyVector from the previous trip at S10. Lake Shellen, and not, I think it was S53, wherever we departed from. Should be right below us somewhere. Stick my head out the window. I think not. This airspace. Follow this river. For a while, I'm going to move my map a little bit. Be back in a second. Just cruising comfortably. Let's see what we have for excellent. Streaming in full VR. Finally have everything worked out mostly the way that I wanted. I'm taking a more complicated, less complicated aircraft, or at least one that I have not flown yet. And that's what makes it complicated. Familiarity with the buttons. Still lose a little bit of altitude. Trim it up. Leave the landing light on. I'm going to turn the pitot on. We're pretty high in elevation. And I'll take this. So check a couple things, be back in a second. Tomorrow. Alright, that's better. Make sure the chat was chatting. Just gonna sit back, relax, and watch it all happen in front of us. Time to flip the tank, fuel on. Reset, fuel off. Got about 15 minutes in this aircraft. Just under, looks like Roosevelt MOA and somebody else's MOA. Reagan? Can't read it. Yeah, how's my audio? I think it's the best ever. I think people are crazy to fly in 2D. There's nothing like it. I think I finally got the settings mostly dialed in. It's a little bit jittery with everything running, but it's an amazing experience. Yeah, those that aren't doing it, missing out. Got the I'm in the Just Flight Warrior doing some flight sim economy. Bought my third aircraft, so now I have no money left in the bank for my monthly fees. This particular aircraft in my flight sim economy, I bought it without an operating GPS, so it's a VFR aircraft. So I'll have to make a little bit of money to invest in the system. Yeah, I'm in a Squirrels group, and I haven't flown too many, but I definitely probably should be in more of a local group. So I will probably, after I get done with this is going to be, I think it's roughly a 2-hour trip, probably 2-hour trip. I'll send you a request to join. Yeah, I have a Piper Tri-Pacer that's on the West Coast in Washington. This Piper Warrior is in Washington, but I'm moving it towards a little bit closer to the East Coast. That's kind of my thing. I'm trying to pick up some economy going east. Hopefully I'll get it closer to New England. And then I have my Cessna 172 that's kind of Lock Island. So I don't know if I can lease those to the group for use. That would be good. No, awesome. It's fun to see the VR group that big already. Anybody that's not flying in VR either has way too much invested in their sim pit, or they haven't tried it. I mean, this is just stock X-plane scenery, and it's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd love to lease them to the group if it's going to be beneficial. I don't need to really make any money out of it. People don't understand. It's the landing in VR that just makes it that much better. It's incredible. You get the feel of the yaw, you get the feel of the ground effects as you get closer. So many things that you can't feel in 2D. I never had that sensation. I'm checking my sky vector, that's why I'm looking down. Get to this. Yeah, I sold a VR headset to my uncle. He came over and tried mine for 5 minutes, and he was like practically shaking. He's like, he had never experienced anything nearly as close in his flight simulator experience, and he's got a ton of it. He went out and bought an Oculus the next week. I also tried the version 10 of or the X-Plane 10 version of the Caravan. That was a mind-blowing experience. How different the 3D cockpit was. Yeah, I think all the Just Flight equipment has been super solid in VR. Everything seems touchable, flyable. I only have about maybe an hour in this one. I just got it. I picked it up kind of late yesterday. Um, I think they're all great. I have the Aero 3, the Turbo, and then I just got this set with the fixed gear. But no, I was saying the 208, when you flew that in 2 dimensions, I couldn't get the perspective of the cockpit. It was awful. But it was a big moneymaker in flight sim economy, so I tried it just on a whim in VR yesterday. I couldn't believe the difference of looking at the left, the amount of space in the front, those windows. It was awesome. Yeah, I know there's a new version of it, but I was, I kind of aggravated, sorta, that, to buy it again. But after using it yesterday in VR, it's probably going to be my next purchase again. It was incredible, to have it where it's actually flyable and workable in VR would be really nice. Yeah, I see you fly the B1900 a bunch. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, I look at it from the kind of that perspective of, if you're going to be a pilot, or a general aviation pilot, chances are you might own one aircraft. So I have a hard time like buying a lot until I really master, or I feel like I have the mastery of all of them, or at least the ones that I have. So yeah, I feel like I still have a lot to learn with the Cessna. It's like, I've got a lot of hours in it. Okay, so you got to use the menu panel. Do they work with plane command? Because that's something that I was wondering if that was a good solution, or, if something was twitchy clickable. Okay, so if they work in plane command, maybe that'll be one of those things I'll have to look at. So about that one, checking my kind of where my VFR is here. Should be there. I got river there. That's looking good. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty much on course, maybe about 2 degrees off. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming by the channel, and yeah, I'll be doing some more. Hey, Tom, a little bit tricky to read on the in-channel chat. Thomas, you see? Thomas is one? Yeah, thanks again, Bambino. Have a great night. Welcome to the to my VR X-Plane 11 channel. Used to be 2D, now it's all 3D. Flying in the Just Flight Aero. Haven't done any external views. I'm a little bit cautious here, and let's see, we'll go the ride-along view. Whew. Man, if you're iffy on your heights, whoops, that's I knew, figured that was going to happen. Not sure if I can. Nope. I can't use the little slingshot to move me around. But oh, that was a crazy view. So I got to center myself again. There we go. I feel like I can ramp up my speed, but I'm pretty high up on the RPMs. We're cruising in eastern Washington, headed towards Montana. I'm doing some flight sim economy. My head's so close I can hear the wind. It's weird. Let's see, checking that landmark. I should be coming up to a peak of some water. You guys can't see it on my sky vector. My route is from S97 Anderson Field to MT53 Carson Field. The flight's probably, I'm guessing it's going to be about 2 hours. I think it said it was, let's see, Sky Vector has it as an hour and 42 minutes. So it's about 200 miles. Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of seat time today. So I'm trying to be super careful with the VFR landmarks, as this aircraft doesn't have GPS in it. I bought it on Flight Sim Economy. Didn't have the GPS package in it. So that's, let's see, that's coming there. One more click. Heading directly east. Then I should come up in... Oh man, oh that breaks my heart. You can get a flight sim. You don't have to do routes this long. I do a lot of like less than 1 hour flights. Early this morning before I went to work, I did a 24 nautical mile flight. It took me 25 minutes. Did a little hop in Washington State in a Piper tripod Pacer. I went to from Friday Harbor to Skagit Regional. Seems like that's a pretty regular route out there. Yeah, flight sim's a lot of fun. Like I said, you don't have to spend a lot of time into it. There's a lot of short hops. There's a lot of practice things that you can do. You can do yeah, family. Yeah, they take priority, definitely. You know, when my kids are around, we're definitely doing more family time stuff. And they're a little bit older, so they're 17 and 15. So they're doing a bunch of their own stuff. So it does kind of give me a little bit more time than I had when they were younger. One of the things that that helped me with them when they were, I don't know how old your kids are, but I would take them out to the local airport or local air museum, and try to get them to really love flight, and kind of a fun time out. We'd go to the local library. They would have the museum pass, so we would go for free. Just take the car ride up there. And they actually had simulators there too. They had a little bit simpler ones, but it was fun. Got me out. Kept my hand in flight simulation when they were younger, and now that they're older, so they're doing a lot of their own stuff. Well, you have this thing here, touch controller. So you can go into the cockpit, and there's clickable regions all over the cockpit. Pretty much most of the aircraft that are being released are fully VR capable. So you can adjust radio settings, you can adjust altimeter, you can adjust your heading, you can do the throttles, you can even do the yoke. I could even control the aircraft with the touch controller. This is an Oculus Rift, and it comes with 2 controllers, one for each hand. And so then, so that's inside the plane. There's a little iPad called the X-Pad, which will show you your map. In the headset, I have my Google Sky Vector chart, so I can kind of see where I'm going. And then I have my chat, so that's why I kind of looking down towards the floor of the aircraft. So you can touch everything inside the aircraft. And the controllers have like a little bit of vibration and a little bit of haptic feedback, so when you flip a switch, it kind of has like a little thunk in it. Super cool. And this is the first generation of this stuff. It's got its little drawbacks. It's not as sharp as a monitor. But as, I don't know if you can see up above you, as Bambino VR says, landing makes all the difference in the world. You can actually feel the airplane kind of gliding in. You can feel the ground effect if you're coming in too fast, and it pushes you up off the ground a little bit. Stuff that I'd never experienced in 2D. But yeah, you look all the way out. You look in 360. I can let's see if I can do this here. I can move this all the way back. I could probably even do this with a custom view too. But pretty much now I can set myself up as like I'm in the passenger seat. And so now it looks like I'm just sitting in the back of the aircraft. You have that full depth. Absolutely amazing. I got the seatbelt going up along here. All these the lights up above me. These will all be switchable, adjustable. There's a red one and a white one. So at night, you can really, for your night vision, it's cool. Super fun. I feel like I'm gonna be a little bit high. Here we go. Drop this down a couple. So I have a big, the river that's coming up here, and looking to my map, it does look like it curves to the right, and then goes back way up to the left, so I know I'm pretty much in the spot that I want to be. I might be just a little bit south of it, and if I'm south of it, looks like its power lines should be down below to my right. So I want to like scoot over here. Whoa, whoa. Makes me dizzy right there. I might be just like right on the edge of being able to see them below me. They might be like right underneath the fuselage. It could be out my left side too. Because I think I wanted to be where that bends up a little bit. I think that's kind of what I had set as my landmark. So in my stream, I kind of do some things by the book, and some of it, like today, I'm just kind of winging it. Giving it my best guess. So, still gonna get me there. Might have to go like click or two to my left. Keep myself pretty close. Yeah, it becomes so real after a while. You forget. Like I've dropped stuff on the seat next to me. You know, just the immersion. You know, I'm in a little room. I can touch my wall right here, but out to my right, you see how much I have. I have hundreds of miles, but there's a door right here. So you really do truly get lost in your sense of space. There's a couple games that come with the system, and it just makes you just kind of lose that your sense of direction. All of a sudden you take the headset off and you're facing the wall behind you, and you're wondering how you got so turned around. Still think I'll be pretty good. Gets a little bit sweaty underneath the hood. They do make a more like terry cloth thing, which will be on my short list of things to accessorize with. This is the hottest room in the house. So there's a door over here. We can open that up. I kind of usually keep the door shut when people coming in and out of the house. It's kind of the live stream signal. Hey, thank you for coming by the channel, and if you ever have any questions, you know, I'll post this video up to my my YouTube channel. You know, you can throw some questions there, or you know, send me a Twitch, what I think it's a whisper or something, or message me if there's any other questions. I'd be glad to answer. But yeah, thanks for taking the time out of your day. Air conditioning feels so good. It is sweaty under here. It's Squawking1200 on YouTube. So my 20-minute reminder's up. See, now what I gotta do, I have to switch my fuel tanks in this Piper. So I'm going to point. There's a little laser that comes out. Turn the fuel pump. I'm going to look on the floor. And there it is. And fuel pump off. Yeah, Squawking1200 on YouTube and Twitch. Hey, thanks. Thanks again. All those subs are appreciated. I'm kind of on my drive for 50. 50 is like one of those magic Twitch numbers, I guess, that you know, that kind of allows affiliateship and stuff like that to start. Another thing that I have to learn about. Trying to find this airport on the map. This Sand Canyon. W20. I don't see it. Gonna move my map a little bit. Should be here somewhere. So it looks like this airspace is coming up on my on the GPS. That is DE. Going over the green valley right here, it looks like. Gonna hit the top of that airspace. There'll be a little pond eventually coming out. Deer Park, looks like a delta. Yeah, thanks again for coming by the channel. Set my timer. Reset. There is an auto reset, auto flip on the fuel tanks on the Just Flight series. Trying not to do that. Trying to like make sure I get into the habit of flipping stuff. Okay, I'm probably lower than I thought. If I'm in between Deer Park and there, that's way south. So I'm going to turn a couple degrees left. Try to fly over KDEW. I don't think I'll have any more terrain issues with this. So Fairchild Air Force Base should be coming up over there. Oof. Sorry about that. Holding pretty steady at 7,300. Looks like at this terrain we should be good all the way through. It looks like there's some 5,000 feet. But not much more than that. Once I hit Deer Park, I'm going to head a little bit more north. Try to find Route 2. Yeah, it looks like Route 2. Follow Route 2 until it comes to a kind of a right turn, then I'm going to go right. That should put me closer to being back on course. But that would be just past Deer Park. Little judder. I think turning down my texture setting or not streaming, but not streaming is not an option. So something's going to have to be sacrificed in the graphics department. Getting set up for these. I am getting set up for these. I think I'll keep the earbuds in. think it's time for another outside view. Looks like my bishop hole. Dang it. That's not what I want. I want not that. I want that. View. Circle. And I don't think I can circle it. Nope, it's doing the same darn thing. That time I bumped the forehead down. It's probably the peak right there, this river. Tight clip and Humboldt. It's good, keep you on your toes. Selection. Should be left line 20. See if I can find my airport. It's got to be straight in front of us somewhere. Straight there. We're going to look for the road going north, just on the other side of the airfield. And follow that until it bends to the right. looks like the body of water that's on the map. far storm line. As far as checking out the map, I'm going to switch fuel tanks. Pressure on. Fuel pressure off. VFR, it's the way to go. It's beautiful today. I just want to pick the map up and like move it and look at it. I guess it is working. That's weird. Well, got here without it. That's something. I'll try to find out why I'm not getting the alerts. Here we are cruising along in our Piper Warrior 2. I just picked this up yesterday. My first real flight with it. I have with today probably almost 2 hours into it. Doing a flight sim economy run. I bought this plane on flight sim economy, so now I own 3 aircraft. Piper Tri-Pacer, November 213 Bravo. This is November 214 Bravo, and my Cessna is November 212 Bravo. Oftentimes I'll be streaming pilot to ATC, but as I'm getting used to VR and how it all works, I am just doing simple. Just trying to make a little bit of flight sim economy money and getting used to the headset and setting everything up. And let me check that text message here. Yeah, there's another flight sim addict, my uncle. I showed him my setup. He's been a flight simulator fan forever, along with me. When I was like 11 and he was 18, 19, maybe 20. He lived with us, so we did a lot of flight simming together. Did a lot of Olympic diving with the arrow keys, Olympic running, Apple IIe. So he looked and checked out my headset in a matter of 5 minutes. He was sold. Wouldn't call in the next week. If you haven't flown in VR, you're missing out. I should have plenty of elevation according to charts here. The charts look like 5,000 is it. So being that we're at almost 8, I think we're good. Aircraft could touch the stretch out. I think if you're looking for a really nice fixed gear, general aviation, probably the closest to like a Cessna 172 in ease, usability, friendliness. This might be one of them. This might be one of those aircraft. You know, it just got the throttle and the mixture. As you go up to the arrow, then you get the prop control. As we're over the valley, the judders have subsided quite a bit. Trying to see this body of water on the in the maps. Beloika Lake? No, we gotta be past that. It looks like an arm. It might be Spirit Lake, but seems like we'd be a little bit north of that. On our left could be Diamond Lake. That one down there. That'd probably make sense. Fix my channel alerts. I need to probably make it a little bit more like TeamSpeak. Firestorm 1 is entered the channel. Firestorm 1 is departed the channel. Put this over here. Should make $1,000 on this, maybe a little bit more. It's a pretty good flight for general aviation. You know, for in essence, a pretty small engine type. Oh, I really want to look at the map. Looks like I gotta move the map. Damn. Ah. That's why. Lake Bend, Oriole. $6,000, $5,000, $6,000, $6,600. We should be really good. there is an aircraft volume. I can fix that.
Sky conditions 17,500 scattered, 32,500 scattered, temperature 9, dew point -14. Altimeter 2992. Libby weather. Wind calm, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 17,500 scattered, 32,500 scattered, temperature 9, dew point -14. Altimeter 2992.
Okay, just checking to see the pitot heat's on. It's time to switch. And good. And those are off. Some pretty country. I don't have any ortho scenery for this part of the world. If all goes well, they don't have anything. Shut off the X-Pad. Curiously, that terrain looks pretty high. Highest I get is 66. 6,600. Altimeter 2902. That's all correct. Actually, this one coming up is. Ooh, my bad. This is high terrain. Alright. We need around 9,000 feet. There's a little block here that's ticked off, lots of dots around. This must be a terrain like type of warning. 7,900. I mean, we got it cleared by a couple feet. If everything's accurate, I'd feel safer up at around 10,000. Keep an eye. EGT's good. Temperature's still good. Fuel's good. That was about peak. Whew. It's getting past supper time. So a 200 plus mile trip. Kind of got a tiny bit off course. I went according to Sky Vector, which I had actually left in the previous destination as my start for today, not the destination that I had arrived at. Did I say that right? I think I left my previous departure point in, and not my last destination. So I went from S10 to somewhere north, S53 maybe? And I didn't restart at S53 to this destination, so I got a little bit, little off course. So pretty reasonably quickly found it on the map, made my corrections, and continued on. Even though this is just the default scenery, this is pretty good. It's not bad. Looks like 17 more minutes. Ground speed has us going 112. Doesn't look like we're going that fast in the indicated airspeed. What if my ground speed's in miles per hour? That seems like it would make more sense then. Get a little closer to the rudder pedals. Let's see, got a little body of water. Maybe there, maybe not. So directly to our left is probably S59 Libby. Yep. Default clouds for X-plane. Should be a northbound road to our left. That should probably already pass that. Got water coming up on our right. Yeah, right there. So we're probably near Olaby. 6,600, and then we can make our descent down to 4,400. Should be power lines pretty much out the left side down there. I think right up there where that bend and where that water is, that looks like Olaby. Hey, Sir Citizen Unknown, welcome to the channel. I gotta fix my audio alerts. For some reason they are not going off today. Welcome next plane, 11 VR6. Flying over Washington to Montana, I believe. Going to Cabin Creek. It's been about a 2-hour flight. We've got about 11 minutes or so en route. We're up at almost 10,000 feet in the Piper Warrior. The Just Flight Piper Warrior. Got about 2.5 hours on this thing. Got it yesterday. Did a couple traffic patterns with it, dug in and got the rest of my VR setup. So inside the headset I have my chat on my right, I got a big map of Sky Vector sitting on my lap, which it's almost a little too big. Good, yeah, I haven't been really happy with it. Today's finally, I feel like I have almost all the pieces. It's still a tiny bit juddery at times. I finally got, I was having audio issues, and it wasn't even my fault. I bought a Blue Yeti, and it was defective. So when I thought it was me, it was really the Blue Yeti that was acting up. So now the audio should sound much better. I was able to, I did a test shakedown and dialed in the audio of the aircraft, so hopefully it's not too loud, but it's present. Awesome, good. No, I just wanted to give a nice thing to Amazon. They took the thing right back, and they got me another Blue Yeti in like a week. I had called Blue Yeti service, and they would have taken care of it too. Would have just a little bit longer. They had returned it to the retailer because it was less than 30 days. But all in all, I'd say the retail experience was really good on that customer service on Amazon and by Blue. They got right back to me. So I'm looking at my map, and that looks like Olaby coming up on my right. And then it's not too much further. Probably just past this next mountain crest. Yeah, if you haven't flown in VR yet, oh man, it is something. Can't go back to a 2D screen. The sensation of height, the sensation of yaw, ground effects, wind, the sense of space around you in the cockpit. It's got its little drawbacks. It's got its little bugs. It takes a lot of computer power. A little bit of a barn door effect. This needs to be a little bit wider. A little bit of screen door effect. Uh, yeah, the screen door effect kind of fades into the background, unless you really concentrate on looking for it. But overall, it's going to be awesome. Generation 2 and 3, whew, I can't even imagine how, can barely imagine how good this is going to be when Vulkan gets implemented. You know, how much smoother everything's going to be. So I'm going to be landing on a grass airstrip. I have 2 passengers for flights in economy. Yeah, see, I wonder if I just had a redraw. It's a little bit, almost like it slowed down a tiny bit. It seems better. Kind of comes and goes, I think, the jutters, depending on the scenery that you're drawing. I have clouds on, so you're getting a lot of cloud, like shadow movement on the ground. So that's probably, is it the lake that would be behind the airfield? To the right, south of the airfield. That looks like the one that would be south of the airfield on Sky Vector. It's kind of shaped a little bit like a boomerang. This is going to be fun. This is what I say everybody tunes into my channel for the last 10 minutes. Kind of like NASCAR. You come in and see if this dude's going to wreck his plane or if he's going to come down like grease lightning. We'll see. These Pipers are definitely fly a lot differently than the high-wing Cessna that I'm used to. But I did have a bunch of successful takeoff and landings in it. You know, the performance, I feel like it's actually a tiny bit slower than the Cessna. Probably start to go down. That's we got this terrain pretty well cleared. Okay, I'm gonna back that up. I'm gonna put the landing light on. I'm gonna make sure fuel tanks are just switched. That's good. That's looks like there's a pond straight ahead of us. And that would be just in front of the airfield. Looks like I have plenty of valley to work with, so I can bleed off a little bit of this excessive height. Sometimes finding these grass strips in X-Plane is, it's been a little bit of a challenge on some of them. Some of them have been just gorgeously, like, I don't know if somebody went through and tuned them up, but some of them have awesome, like, manicured lawn. But I don't know if those are the ones that are in my ortho, and if it varies from spot to spot. I've been in and out of flight simulation for a long time. I did have, like, the mythical Sublogic on my Apple IIe in, like, the early 80s when I was, 10, 11 years old. Then I had, like, Chuck Yeager, and then I had one of the Microsoft, and then X-Plane 8, and then I really started getting back into it. You know, you get kids and stuff, so you kind of get more interested in that. Now that they're a little bit older, I've had time to come back to it. So I really kind of got back into it in X-Plane 10 and discovered the community. And between that and Twitch and, having flight sim conventions, and it's been awesome. So I'm not a real world pilot, I'm just a sim pilot. That looks like that's going to be the airport down there. Are you a pilot or just a sim player? I gotta turn off this. Gonna wind up floating around for a few minutes up here. But like this, you can stretch up and you can look over the nose. You can see who's coming from your left, above, to your side. I did not have track IR. I think that'd be the closest that you could get in simulator and still kind of get that sense of what's around you. But I almost pulled the trigger on track IR, and then I went to the flight sim convention that was in Hartford, and then I tried X-Plane, the first version of it, and I said, nope, I'm going to wait for that thing to come out natively. Alright, there's our airport. Okay, yeah, I played Battlefield 1 too. You know, I grew up on Atari and arcades, and my kids can't believe you actually had to pay a quarter every time you wanted to play a video game. Hey, there's some traffic right there. Whoa. I do that too. I watch a lot of, I love Jeff Fabiano's, a lot of his stuff. I love watching Squirrel. I like watching, weirdly, I love NASCAR, but I almost find it more enjoyable to watch these guys do iRacing. It's almost more organic. It's like it kind of brings it back to the, trying hard. They're racing pretty hard. But there's almost a little bit more there's more almost drama because there's not big sponsors and guys will wreck each other more intentionally than NASCAR, and it just it kind of brings it back to the not necessarily less clean racing, but a little bit more unpredictability. Yeah, there was a while I didn't have a lot of time to play. Once my kids got to be 7, 8 years old and they started getting back into games, then, we got Rock Band. We started playing that kind of stuff. I'm the world's worst singer, but it's hilarious. So now they're into a bunch of games. My older one has a live stream that he does with it. He does PUBG, and he was doing a bunch of Breakaway for a while, and a couple other games at League of Legends. See if I can find. There's the airfield. Should be somewhere around 4,500, I think is what the map says. That's going to be my best guess anyways. I don't have any wind effects or anything on right now. Just getting my VR set up with the chat and the map in the headset. That was a little bit trying. Next up, I usually stream Pilot to ATC. Yeah, no, in flight simulation's only going to get better. There's a lot, these there's a lot to be said about the graphics in some of these games. Um, I laughed at my kids when they started playing Minecraft. I'm like, you guys just set video games back like 50 years. I couldn't even look at it. You know, basically I grew up trying to get better and better graphics, and Minecraft and all its brilliance kind of killed that. But that's one of the reasons why I like Battlefield 2. It's stunning artwork. And yeah, there's something, some of the earlier games had something, special about them because they were new, and now the games nowadays have a whole nother take on why they're cool. The online multiplayer the community is crazy. What is it, Stone Mountain 64? His stuff is hysterical. It's 6,000, still up a little bit high up here. Beautiful valley. Wonder if that river's up, or that lake is up so high, compared to the terrain below us. It's not like we have that in New England, really. Still looks a little bit high. Gonna go a little bit longer. Let's see, mixtures up, landing lights on. Go through my little bit of pre-landing checklist. I do some stuff sort of by the book, and sometimes I just play around. Fuel pump on. Tanks are good. Fuel tank selector. I'm flying to some, it's called Carson in I think it's Montana. I'm doing what's called it's called Flight Sim Economy. It's where it's a kind of a game mod, well, simulator mod, where you can pick up fictitious passengers and cargo, and you can kind of make money with your aircraft. So I just happened to buy this aircraft in Flight Sim Economy a couple days ago, and it's located out west. So I'm trying to pick up passengers and stuff and bring them and get my plane actually back east. So is it the runway down the middle there, or is it I want to land on the grass here down the middle. First notch of flaps. Okay, it's the one on the left, it looks like. Yeah, it's a super cool thing. And they're starting to fine tune it. I think it's the right one. The left one looks like it would be more like the taxiway. Probably doesn't matter, there's no one out here. Yeah, I picked up 2 passengers. The value, I think, was $1,700. I don't have to pay myself rental, but I do have to pay for fuel, and then if there's any fees, going long. I can probably make this come on. Maybe this is the taxiway. See, this is something you don't get in 2D. I can feel the sense of speed in the flare. this thing come rolling down. Yeah, thanks. I think that landing wasn't too bad. Little break. Okay, so that was right. Good. So we are at the right airport, MT53. And so I got the throttle starting to crank up. It's got the resistance on the grass here. Looks like I got a guy in overhead of us. Maybe doing some pattern work. These AI aircraft, you never know what they're going to do. Yeah, it's virtual money. So, yeah, I can show you the screen in a second. I'm just going to park at the, it looks like a Cessna up there. Nice. Yeah, so it's a mod within the game. So there's all kinds of aircraft to choose from. You have to actually own the model in order to use it within Flight Sim Economy. Like I just can't take up like a jet if I don't own that jet. But if I own a 747 in my livery, in my hangar, I can actually use it and make money within the sim. Oh, this is a nicely detailed airport. Gosh, somebody did a really nice job on this. I love it. Got the state flag over there. Park right over here. Cool, it's got its own livery. All right, let's see. I'm going to shut this thing down for a second. Let's see. Oh, that's the microphone. Sorry about that. Turn all these down. All right, turn the key. Where's the key? Off. Fuel selector. Off. Alright, let's see if I can not kill the stream. Whew, got a little bit warm there. Let's see if I can find, if I can bring in, I don't know if I can bring flights, if I can bring this into here. No, I lost my chat. Alright. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can easily bring in my Flight Sim Economy. Let me see if I can do it on the map here. Yeah, so this is Flight Sim Economy. Let's see, I kind of got it. I can't see my OBS. Hang on. Where'd it go? Yeah, it's there. So you go to the, this is like the main screen. You go to your airports. So I'll just pick Bradley Airport, that I'm familiar with. And so at Bradley Airport, you have these assignments. So you have all these guys here. You can take one New England passenger. And the best way to make money is to try to group them up. If you can take, drop off supplies, land drop off supplies and continue on to the next airport and drop off a passenger to maximize your airplane's capacity. That's really the best way to do that. And then once you select what you want to do, you come down and then you select the aircraft that are available. In Hartford right now, there's only this one aircraft. It's a BAE 1 Avro RJ70 don't have one of those. So this airport, I don't own any airplane. So I can't really take any assignments. So if I go to, I own a couple of aircraft in the game. So if I go to, oh no, I gotta, there we go, finish my flight. All right, that was so like my Piper Tri-Pacer is currently here in Washington, and so then I would get all of these to pick from. So Piper Tri-Pacer, I can hold 3 passengers. It tells you like how many nautical miles, and then kind of what the direction is, if it's north, east, or west. So you can kind of try to plan out, plan your route, maximize your money. And then these are all the aircraft that are at Skagit Regional in Washington. So if you own any of these aircraft, like this 172, it's got the it's a little green tool next to it. I think it's out of service. I think it's either under foreclosure or it needs some kind of major maintenance. The ones with the cross thing, I think it needs to have something paid up. But most all these, and some of them are not for rent. Some like this one, they just might not rent it. It might be there, but they don't even rent it. And then like this 206 Stationair, you can rent it wet or dry. Wet comes with fuel, and then how much, and then it's got a bonus if you keep it close to its home airport. They give you a monetary bonus. So my aircraft down here, November 213 Bravo, it doesn't have a GPS in it. It's kind of like a VFR. No, it's just virtual money. Nope, it's all virtual. It just it gives you a reason to fly in the flight simulator. So sometimes you just kind of get a little bit bored just flying around. So now it's sort of like a mission. And then once you collect enough money, you can buy your own airport. So you can have like what's called an FBO, fixed base of operation. You can buy airplanes within it and rent them like I do. Like people can take my airplane and rent it and borrow it. So sometimes it's unavailable to me. But it's all virtual money. Bambino VR has a group, and you can fly as like an airline. So Bambino has a group. You sign up for it, and you can you get a bunch more assignments. And I'm going to lease some of my planes back to the Bambino VR group, so we'll have more aircraft to draw on. Say there's 20 pilots, but only 10 planes. People can get left out. So the more planes that we throw into our group, the more profit sharing that we can get, and make our group bigger. We can buy bigger aircraft. The whole game within a game. It's pretty funny. It's just another way to be nerdy. But yeah, the one I took out today. Let me get to the bank page. I'll show you that. So on the bank page, it has, I rented it from Riverhawk, or landed at Riverhawk Aviation. I owed them in the red $89 for grounds fees. And then Flight Sim Economy paid me $1,797. And they subtracted 89, basically $90 per passenger. So the rest of that will go into my bank. If you get started in Flight Sim Economy, people can give you money. They can loan you money. There's even people that have so much capital built up into it. They actually they're actually like mini banks. They'll help you finance a plane, so you could go buy like a Cessna 208 at $600,000. You know, you give them a third, and then you finance the, you know, the rest of it over a bunch of years. Pretty crazy. And I think as long as you keep paying and paying your interest, nothing happens. But then again, if you stop, you go into foreclosure. The game takes your aircraft. It's super fun. It's sounds more complicated than it is. But yeah, once you get into it, it's like any other thing. You just kind of learn it and get out of it what you want. I had $160,000, but then I bought this Piper Warrior. Basically wiped out my bank account, so now I got to do a bunch more. So, Sir Citizen, that is my tour of wherever I landed. MT-53, Riverhawk Aviation. I'm going to go eat some dinner. Typically, my streaming schedule used to be mornings Eastern time, but now my job got shifted to afternoons. So probably mid-afternoon Eastern time, 2-3 o'clock will be kind of my regular schedule, and then by chance and by kids and by activities. But yeah, no, thank everybody for coming by. Thank you for the questions. I'm gonna put this up on YouTube. Please, you know, if you have any more questions, you know, you can post comments up on YouTube. You can send them to me via Twitch too. I'll be glad to share whatever information that I have with you. But again, thanks for everybody for coming by. Sir Citizen Unknown, thank you for the conversation. Whew, it's hot underneath the hood here. Let's see. Chat, done, stop. Have a great night.